Europe isn't collapsing with riots. It isn't collapsing with breaking news alerts. It's collapsing quietly, factory by factory, job by job, decision by decision. What we're witnessing right now is not a temporary energy crisis. It's the slow unraveling of Europe's industrial foundation. For decades, Europe sold itself as a global engine of manufacturing, innovation, and economic power. Germany was the workshop of the world. France was an industrial heavyweight. Northern Europe prided itself on efficiency, stability, and precision. But that entire model was built on one fragile assumption. Cheap, predictable energy would always be available. That assumption is gone. When Russia reduced and then cut natural gas flows, it didn't just disrupt supply chains, it exposed a structural weakness Europe had ignored for years. Energy wasn't just fuel, it was leverage. And Moscow understood that better than Brussels ever did. Before tanks crossed borders, pipelines were already doing the damage. Gas flows slowed, prices surged. Industrial costs exploded, and Europe had no real backup ready. The result? Factories that once ran non-stop are now silent. Germany's manufacturing sector, long considered the backbone of the European economy, has slipped deep into contraction. Aluminum smelters shut down because they can't afford to operate. Steel plants scale back production. Chemical and fertilizer facilities idle entire lines. These aren't symbolic closures. These are permanent losses. When heavy industry shuts down, it rarely comes back. Europe's share of global economic output tells the story clearly. In 1990, Europe controlled roughly a quarter of the world's GDP. Today, that number has nearly been cut in half. And while output falls, leaders continue to speak in slogans. Transition. Net zero. Green transformation. Nice words, but words don't power blast furnaces. The uncomfortable truth is this. Energy is sovereignty. A country that cannot reliably power its factories cannot compete. It cannot innovate at scale. It cannot protect jobs or global influence. Russia didn't need to fire a shot to prove this. It simply turned a valve. Europe had allowed nearly half of its natural gas supply to flow from a single external source. Pipelines like Nord Stream weren't just infrastructure, they were strategic pressure points. Once those flows were reduced, the illusion collapsed. Europe now claims it is choosing to phase out Russian gas. In reality, the choice was already made for them. The pipelines were cut. The damage was done. Brussels is now formalizing a defeat that already happened. Yes, Europe can import liquefied natural gas from the United States, from Qatar, from elsewhere. But LNG is expensive, it's volatile, and Europe is competing with Asia for every shipment. The cost difference is brutal. American and Asian industries pay far less for energy than European manufacturers. That gap determines where factories are built, where capital flows, and where jobs survive. And capital is already voting with its feet. Industries are relocating. Investments are moving to the US and Asia. Supply chains are reorienting away from Europe. This isn't a pause. It's deindustrialization. Every closed factory weakens Europe's position in the global economy. Every lost job erodes social stability. Every disrupted supply chain reduces strategic independence. And the consequences go beyond economics. When industry declines, innovation follows. Research slows. Advanced manufacturing slips away. Europe loses its ability to set standards, influence trade, and shape global policy. At the same time, others move forward. The United States continues expanding its industrial and technological edge. China invests aggressively in infrastructure, manufacturing, and energy security. Both understand a basic reality Europe forgot. Power flows from production. Production flows from energy. Europe, meanwhile, debates regulations while its industrial base contracts. This is why analysts warn that what's happening isn't cyclical, it's structural. You can't regulate your way out of an energy shortage. You can't subsidize your way out of lost competitiveness.